Oh yeah,
we're doing
an don't quote me on that.
I was gonna say we're doing an accolades trailer right now, so it would be great if we could say.
Barfing Sarlacc.
Barfing Sarlacc, Game of the Year.
You have to put all those words together, though.
IGN.
So I got in trouble when I was at Destructoid. I got in trouble because I said that Burger Time World Tour was the game of GDC, and they put it in the trailer, and I was like, I was joking. I said it on Twitter in a joke, and they were like, just watch it. And
you gotta be careful with that stuff.
All right.
Hey, John. Thanks for coming on.
This is John Vignocchi.
Hey, pleasure to see you, man. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
So Up and Doing's a show that ran for a few years. We had guests all the time. We kind of pulled away from that with the new version. The only real guests we've had so far on the show were Dropsy the Clown, who was a clown that didn't talk, and 7 people who sat behind us and wiggled their bellies and did the truffle shuffle.
You're the first talking guest we've had.
Okay. So then probably everyone's like, nah, what happened to the clown? Is he going to do the truffle shuffle? If he'll do the truffle shuffle, then he can be on your show.
I don't know if the analytics for that episode are great because the second the clown shows up, it's just like, just drops off. A lot of people are like, you should have said something, I'm out of here.
Right.
So Disney Infinity 3.0.
Well, there it is. It's out now. I also, I'm VP production on Disney Infinity, but I'm also the guy that you guys pay to shout out in the background release dates.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Money's tight at Disney these days.
Right.
And IGN.
So, I don't know what I was... I honestly have been kind of sitting out on Disney Infinity since it was announced. I thought it looked cool, but I'm like, this is going to get Star Wars eventually, and I want to wait for that, and I'm really glad I did, because I threw Jawas into the Sarlacc pit, it vomited everywhere, and it was honestly really gross the first time I saw that. You've got a Boba Fett that can fly around with a jetpack and use a grappling hook, and I don't think anyone's really done that in a game right yet. So that's kind of.
Do we do it right?
Yeah. I made Boba Fett walk around in an ATST and fly a land speeder.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked it. You know, we primarily make it for kids and family audience, but it's cool to see core gamers like you guys also really enjoying.
I think it's cool that you think I'm a core gamer.
Well, you don't think you're a core gamer?
Don't think that. They get,
what are you playing right now?
They call me a casual.
Oh, really?
And a wiener.
Core is like, getting called a core gamer is the only time anyone ever references to our cores as like good things. People are always like, exercise dudes are always like, I'm working on my core.
Yeah.
And you get to throw that at
So am I, everyone. I'm working on my core big time.
I'm really more of a quads gamer. I don't know. I play on one of those Stairmaster things.
Damn it, Max.
What? Okay. So we got Star Wars toys here. I want to look at some of these. These are all really. This is the best one.
So let me ask you guys a question. How did you guys sort of figure out which ones you wanted to launch with? Because you have a good line of kind of the classics that Max and I really geeked out about, and then obviously a lot of the new characters too.
Yes.
Such as Mulan.
Not a Star Wars character, but from a great Disney Animation Studios film. So how do we decide? We talked closely with the team at Lucasfilm, and we actually got access to their Q-score data of like who are some of their most popular characters, who are some of their least popular characters, that kind of thing. So
do you know? Wait, can you tell us who the least popular?
No, of course not.
Man.
Like, but that's
it's
good
probably
to put
one
me
of
on
our
the
favorites,
spot, right?
Max and I have really weird favorite Star Wars characters.
I'll tell you this though. This is the one that surprised me when we were able to look at it. I was like, Jar Jar Binks is incredibly high.
Really?
That must be because
is
people
that why he acts that way?
Now you changed my words. No one get me in trouble. That was him. I meant he's high on the list.
Put that on your box, John.
So he's high, and I was like, oh, is this because people don't like him? And they're like, no, kids actually really like Jar Jar. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
You know?
Now we forget a lot that kids are really stupid.
Well, so anyway, we take a look at like what characters can make great gameplay, and then what characters are popular, and at the same time, you know, what does the community want? What characters do they really want to play as? So
can you tell us what's been really demanded that might be on the way, or?
Yeah, right now I think the one that I'm seeing from Star Wars a lot is General Grievous.
Ooh, yeah.
But then at the same time, you know, Disney Infinity 3.0 is going to have a playset, much like what you guys were just playing, based on The Force Awakens. So I think when The Force Awakens releases in holiday, and our playset releases in conjunction with that, we're going to see all of these characters from The Force Awakens pop as, you know, the latest and greatest people want.
So that's awesome. Like, the thing is, we kind of, like, we grew up with, you know, licensed games coming out alongside movies, you know? I mean, sometimes they were awesome. Sometimes you got, you know, Episode 1 Racer, and sometimes you got The Phantom Menace, you know? But, like, they were always kind of, like, it was, the scale of video game development was, like, kind of actual manageable alongside a movie, you know?
Yeah,
but nowadays, things are like, there's so many moving parts, and it's so high tech that you can, maybe you'll get like a mobile game that comes out side by side, but with Infinity you kind of have this modular approach where you've got this framework of pieces. The fact that we are basically getting and I'm guessing The Force Awakens is like tied to the story, yeah? Like for the playset?
I will not talk about The Force Awakens at Uncut Noon.
All right. But I'm not going to go.
But you can invite me back, and I'll talk about it again.
I want to do a Watto voice to you because that stuff doesn't work on me. I'm a toy daddy. So, I mean, obviously, you guys working with Star Wars is probably incredibly difficult in terms of you have a very strict story canon to stick to now, which they've now gutted and rebooted and now starting all over again. But you guys are kicking off right off the bat, going, "Here's, this is not really canon, but we're using your characters, and they're fighting with the characters from Inside Out and Wreck-It Ralph and all these other figurines that work with the set." So how do you get to jump out the gate with something that's so sort of daring and different from what they're doing traditionally?
Yeah, so Brian, the way that we've structured Infinity as a platform, as we call it, is we've got play sets which are true to property. So fans of Star Wars can play and experience with characters from Star Wars, and you're not going to see Lightning McQueen driving around Tatooine.
Right.
However, in our toy box mode, which is the other side of the Infinity software, that's where all the characters can mash up and come together. With respect to kind of where your question was starting in the beginning, like, how did you do this, and how do you work with the canon teams and the franchise teams at Lucasfilm? So we had actually said to them that we had wanted to. Our original pitch to them was we wanted to do something based on Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and they had said to us, we really think that in order to do Star Wars fans justice, and since Infinity is a kids and family game, so it's going to apply to everyone, we want you guys to do characters and content across the entire saga.
Right.
So they told us, episodes 1, 2, and 3, Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels is this new animated series that we have in development. We'd love to be able to see some of those characters inside of Infinity, and episodes 4, 5, and 6, and The Force Awakens. So it was like, okay, and it wasn't like, oh, you're twisting my arm, we have to do all the Star Wars content. We loved it, right? It's like, okay, this is great.
Yeah,
now,
you asked for an inch and you got a mile.
Yeah, exactly.
Is pretty awesome.
And now we're like, okay, so now what do we do? So we have a playset that's based on episodes 1, 2, and 3, and that's an original story. And a big part of the reason why that was an original story is, at least with Infinity, we've got just as many boys playing as we do girls,
right?
Which is really, really cool. I should say just as many girls playing as we do boys, because a lot of times people are surprised, like,
I didn't know that boys like games.
See, that's why. Sorry, I said it wrong way, but you know what I meant. So the cool thing was that we had said, we want to have a strong female character that comes inside of the starter pack, and Ahsoka Tano makes a lot of sense for that character. And they had said, well, episodes 1, 2, and 3 didn't have this character. The animated series did, though, so we'll work with you guys. Your story team will meet with our story team at Lucasfilm. We'll come up with an original story. It's not going to be canon according to the new timeline, but that's going to allow you to have characters and content from Clone Wars inside of Infinity. And we put that in our starter pack. We actually caught a lot of heat. People were like, why didn't you put The Rise Against the Empire, the episodes 4, 5, and 6 playset inside the starter pack? That would be the most popular. And it's like, okay, like that's a gamer dad talking, or that's a gamer mom talking.
Or
because the younger kids, right, they're more familiar with Rebels, Clone Wars, and episodes 1, 2, and 3. So that's why we put that in the starter pack, and it's a little bit, I'm gonna keep going, man. Well, I'm so glad everyone gave me an extra shot in that coffee.
Yeah, I was really kind of amazed playing it, because like, I can imagine, like, I remember the first time I saw Star Wars as a kid. Like, I saw it, like, it looked a little bit old, I mean, it was the 90s, like, I was young, but like, there's a whole generation of kids who, like, if they watch it now, it's like when I try to watch, like, Casablanca, they're gonna be like, why'd they film it all weird? Like, why aren't they in flying ships? Why does everything look like it's made of model kits,
Sure.
But I can imagine after playing, Rise of the Empire and having, like, having Han Solo and Chewbacca and, like, kind of seeing these cartoon versions, then you, like, to me, I'm like, oh, cool, it kind of looks like Harrison Ford. Like, I like I'm very familiar with this character, but then, like, it's the opposite for them. Like, maybe they're going to play this with their dad, and their dad's like, that's Han Solo, he's the cool one. You should play as him.
That's what I think is fun.
Go ahead, Brian, sorry.
Bizarro13 on Twitch says, can I play this with my kid couch co-op? I know nothing about Disney Infinity. It sounds like this guy's kid does.
Yes, you totally can. And, I mean, that's the kind of the cool thing about, when Lucasfilm encouraged us to do the entire saga, it was like, what's going to be great is that if we do this right, we're going to have gamer mom and gamer dads playing with their kids, right? And they're going to go, this is my Star Wars that I grew up with. Let me show you what an X-Wing looks like.
Let me tell you why Mon Mothma was a great character. And they're like, Dad.
Yeah, there's Jango Fett. No, Boba Fett was their character. And so it's, for me, like, one of my first Star Wars memories was seeing the film with my father. And it became, like, for my family anyway, it's like one of those films that kind of defines everyone as, there's good people and bad people, and you always try to be a good person, and it's like was one of those, like, life lesson, like, movies. So to be able to make a game then that, can hopefully create memories, like, between parents and their kids, that's what we hope, has been an honor, and it's been a lot of fun.
So we have a question from a real burly adult superhero man here. Ace of Spade 22 says, "Can I play this game without buying action figures? I'm a grown man and stopped playing with toys a long time ago." he's posting from the gym. He's got hot oils all over his chest. He's cooking a whole ham in the woods. Just a real man's man. He hates these toys.
Do you have any performance motorcycles I can hook up to my TV that'll unlock characters from a fantasy movie in space?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so here's what I'd say to you, Ace of Base.
Yeah, we can call him that.
Okay. Or no, it's Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades. Okay. So what we can say to you.
Why did you do like the chocolate rays?
Yeah, no.
Ace of Base.
So what I'll say to you is that while you might not prefer this method of playing a game, we do try to make these really high quality so that if your friends come over and go, "Hey, Ace of Base, how come you have all of these toys everywhere?" You go, "Actually, these are collectible figurines and they work with a really cool game. You should check it out." And then if you're like, "Whatever, forget you, Disney guy. I hate you no matter what." Electronic Arts has a great game coming out called Star Wars Battlefront. It's for a hardcore guy like you. Totally check that out. It's amazing and it's awesome. But if you've got kids and you want to make memories and have an experience together, try Infinity.
Also,
you don't have to.
If your hardcore dude friends come over and they look at your toys, they're like, "What's this?" and they try to break it, they are pretty well made. So
thank
they're
you.
going to hold up real good.
So I was going to ask you about those. Actually, I'm noticing a great variety in characters here. One thing I'm not seeing are droids. What's up with those guys?
What's up with those droids? Well, Brian, the thing is that we're always adding more characters to the Infinity platform. And I'm earning my paycheck from the PR team right now by telling you that I'm not going to reveal any new characters that may be coming, but droids would be great characters that we could add to the platform over time.
You saying I might be able to get a little BB-8 one of these days? One of these days, maybe?
How would BB-8 ledge hang, though? That character
That is
in particular.
literally
that's
your
the
job
tough
to
one.
figure out. I know you're a reviews guy. Damn it. Release date man.
We don't know how BB-8 does anything.
I have
No,
no,
so
there's an app, but there's
so to not be so smarmy about like not only like droid characters, but I would say like characters because we are a platform for all things Disney. People are asking like, well, where's Simba from The Lion King? And then it's like, okay, and then we go and we do an evaluation, we look at that, and we're like, okay, so how is Simba going to drive a car? Because that's something you can do in our toy box mode. How is Simba going to ledge hang? How is Simba going to be able to shoot a blaster? How will those things work? And then
How do
what
you
about
give a cat a gun?
And then, and then there's also like, and Raja is a mount in the game. So how will Simba ride Raja? And would that seem weird? Someone at corporate brand probably wouldn't be happy if we did all these things together.
Right.
We're trying to figure all those things out. I mean, things also like we don't have swimming yet in the game. We're getting a lot of requests for swimming characters like the Little Mermaid and from hardcore fans.
It's gonna be really awkward if you do like Finding Dory and you put them on the thing and they're just like, "Ah," like flopping.
No, we would always try to make it great. Yeah. So, but not, they might have come out the wrong way. I meant like we try to make them really swim.
we do have to sort of wrap up, but I want to ask you one more really quick question. Okay. Now, bigger characters, right? Like Jabba the Hutt, the Rancor. Like
Jabba no ta Wookiee solo.
Jabba no bother.
That's fun. What,
Yes.
would you like a character like that?
Yes, of course. I'm not just asking you what you think of the character.
What do you think about Jabba Hutt? Jabba Hutt's a great character, let me tell
I'll
you.
call you separately for that. We can have a whole talk about that.
Yeah, bigger characters. I think one character that's not in this lineup right here that we have announced, if you look at, we've announced Hulkbuster.
Yep.
From, actually, it was we had him on the show when we were at San Diego Comic-Con.
From Empire Strikes Back.
No, yeah, not from him, but larger Star Wars characters for sure. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say with my answer is we've shown that we can do characters on a larger scale, and we're going to be doing more of those characters, and there's a ton of them that we can do. We've done Wreck-It Ralph, we've done Hulkbuster, but we start thinking about some of the other characters that are huge across all the different fiction. You know, obviously Jabba the Hutt's one of them. You know, Thanos would be a cool character to do.
Yep.
So it's wild to be able to play with all of these at the same time.
So like this is a pretty young series. You know, you're three years in.
Yeah.
And we've kind of seen like you get the flagship stuff like like Star Wars or Inside Out, and it's Guardians of the Galaxy. But then you also get these kind of like other like Tron. You get like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, some classics.
And I really like that. Is it safe to assume that we're going to see like kind of installments of like Star Wars characters in there? Like, is it going to be? Because how long am I going to have to wait to get like a Bosk?
Or a Bib Fortuna.
And so here's the thing, and we've done this. So I think the best example of this now is now that we're in Infinity 3, you can see we're still adding more Disney characters, we're still adding more Pixar characters, we're still adding more Marvel characters. The thing that's crazy that I don't think a lot of people realize and a lot of game developers realize is now there is four huge audiences that just are craving this content in a video game format. And so now it's like as we've kind of we consider 3.0 the final introduction of the Disney Infinity brand. Now we have all the character families kind of inside of it, and now it's like, okay, so next year, what are we doing for Marvel? What are we doing for Pixar? What are we doing for Disney? What are we doing for Star Wars? So yes, it is safe to assume we're going to be adding more and more characters over time, and hopefully what we've done so far kind of proves that out.
It's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, it's nice to have a job. That's what I always say, right?
Well, John, thank you so much for joining us.
Max, thank you. Thank you for letting me be the first talking person.
Yeah.
Or
It's fun,
like,
fun
not
talk.
First talking person.
You know, I meant like.
We have an award for you, the First Talking Person Award. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right.